The next topic is visual, auditory, and kinesthetic styles. They are also known as VAC model. V for visual, A for auditory, and K for kinesthetic. The VAC model of learning style has been proposed by psychologists in 1920s to classify the common ways in which people learn. Now, this shows that we have our preferences with regard to learning style, and that these three actually they broadly cover the learning styles, and it says that we have preferences to use maybe one of these three styles. But in practice, generally, we follow mix and match of all three of these learning styles. Visual dominant learner prefer learning through images, pictures, diagrams. Auditory dominant learner would like to listen or would prefer learning through listening. Kinesthetic will follow more like experiences, which are physical experiences, and where the element of touch or feel is involved. Just to give you an example, if you are in an uncomfortable situation, for example, you are lost in a city and you want to find your way, what would you like to do? Would you like to go for map or consulting a map? That's visual. Or you would ask somebody about the directions, so that is auditory. Or you will find your way yourself, you would just walk through different roads and streets and then get to your destination. That's basically kinesthetic. If you can recall any presentation that you attended, so if you are to recall that presentation, what would you recall? The visual aids that were used in that presentation, that is what visual. Or the words used by the presenter, that's auditory. Or the participation of the audience, so that is kinesthetic. Now let's try to see what these different styles are in detail. Now, looking at visual auditory, as I have just explained, visual learner tend to prefer reading and studying charts, drawing, and other graphic information. Auditory learners prefer listening to lectures and audio tapes, and kinesthetic learners will show a preference for demonstration and physical activity involving bodily movement. Most successful learners, of course, can utilize both visual and auditory input, but slight preferences one way or the other may distinguish one learner from another, which is an important factor for classroom instruction. In one study of adult learners of ESL, Joy Reid found some significant cross-cultural differences in visual and auditory styles. By means of self-reporting questionnaire, the subjects rated their own preferences. The students rated statements like, "When I read instructions, I learn them better," and another statement like, "I learn more when I make drawings as I study." They make these statements on a 5-point scale ranging from strongly agree to strongly disagree. Now, among the findings, Korean students were significantly more visually oriented than native English speaking Americans. Japanese students were at least auditory students, significantly less auditorily inclined than Chinese and Arabic students. So, Reid also found that some of the preferences of her subjects were a factor of gender, length of time in the United States, academic field of study, and level of education. Later, Reid reported on studies that included kinesthetic styles, with results that confirmed the importance of attending to such preferences among learners. Research findings on learning styles underscore the importance of recognizing learners' varying preferences. Measurement of style preferences, usually the means of self-check questionnaire, is problematic according to Lever. The fact that learner style represented preferred approaches rather than immutable stable traits means that learners can adapt to varying context and situations. To sum up, researchers emphasize that there is a diversity of learning styles reflected in visual, auditory, and kinesthetic styles.